Hello everybody, my name is Jean-Pierre Farandou. 4 months ago I was the CEO of the French Railways, so I spent in this company more than 45 years, so I know a little bit about labor, but being practical in teams, in companies, matching competition in France, in Europe, so it's a big change for me, but after 4 months, here I am. And today I will speak about RIE and what does it mean for a Minister of Labor to speak about this topic, which is not so easy because artificial intelligence happens inside companies. And when you are in a minister in the government, you are not in charge of, you are not the CEO of all the French companies working in France. So it's how you can influence, you can accelerate, you can focus, you can help to develop the use of IA in our economy. My understanding of this phenomenon, because I think it's quite a phenomenon, is the image I have in my mind. I'm from the southwest. You know, in the southwest you have the Atlantic Ocean, and what do you do in Atlantic Ocean? You have surfing. You surf on the waves, and I think it's quite a huge wave which is coming, which has already started to cover our country and Europe and our lives. And you have two choices when a big wave is arriving. Either you surf on top of it, or you take the huge amount of water on your head. So I prefer the first option. So I propose you to surf on the wave and not to wait and take tons of water over our heads. What does it mean? We have to deploy artificial intelligence as soon as possible, because it's kind of race, of course. It's a race between countries, it's a race between continents. We all know how many billions of dollars the US companies are putting in this topic. We know also that the Chinese too, they want to do the race with the Americans, and we are in Europe, we are in France, and we have to find our path between these two giants. So we have to be clever. Of course, we are a little bit less powerful than them, we are a little bit less rich than them, but we have our minds, we have our brains, and if we work together, I think we can have our piece of light in this competition. What is key for me is to deploy this new technology in our lives and in the companies. The main obstacle, we have two big obstacles: training people, because of course it's a kind of new tool, so you have to learn how to use this new tool. So training will be, of course, a key issue. And I would say two sides in training. You have training about IA, but you also IA about changing the ways you are training people. So you have the both sides of the coin, and we work on that. I've seen an exhibition a couple of days ago, weeks ago, and I've been very much impressed to see how much the new training companies are using this technology to change drastically the way you teach people, you train people. I think it's a big change indeed. And of course you have to organize your. So today, of course, there not so many workers are very well trained in IA, because it's quite soon, it's quite new. So of course you have to train the new ones, you have to train the more elder ones. So the effort of training is huge. That's the first point. The second point, and maybe it's even more complex, is the way you use artificial intelligence in the companies, and that's not so easy. I'm pretty sure that this technology can fit with all the kind of businesses, huge ones, of course, industry and so on, but also small ones. I think a baker, I think a butcher, I think whatever, they can use artificial intelligence in their business, but it's not very easy for them to understand it. We have a big effort to do to share with them how they can use it, and this is not obvious. You can when I think the big companies, they don't need so much help. They will do it. They start to do it already. For example, as you know, I was in charge of the French Railways. It's obvious for us that we were going to use it. We have partnership with École Polytechnique, for example. So all the engineers about maintaining trains or building tracks, they are engineers. So it's so logical for them to use the new technology as far as optimizing the processes and so on. So I'm not so much bothered about the big companies. They will use it. The small ones, They are very numerous in our country. It's a lot of workers there. There are far much more workers in small companies than in the big ones. So the challenge is there, and I'm thinking what can I do to help these companies to develop? I think the answer is about working with their organization. There are national organizations, so we are going to organize meetings and processes and talks and so on to how can we develop this technology all over our companies. We have also in our hands. So we have training, we have deploying, we have also what is all about talking with trade unions, because of course trade unions, they are a little bit afraid about this new technology because they fear it will cancel a lot of jobs. Maybe they're right. It's Schumpeterien, as we say. Maybe they're right. I think they're right. Artificial intelligence will cancel some jobs, will change drastically the jobs. I hope they will create jobs too, of course. But we have to be honest in this discussion, to open the discussion with them, and we have started to do it. We can do it nationally, of course. Maybe it's too much general. I would prefer discussions inside the companies, inside the branches, because it's linked with the reality of the jobs in each sectors. So it's already started, but we have to have the trade unions not as enemies or brakes. We have to have them as to push with us to make France ahead of the race and not at the back. So it's quite a challenge because the unions in France they are strong. They want to argue. That's right. So let us talk about it. Be open. Be honest as far as we discuss with them. Open-minded. Let us hear what they have to say to us. And of course, we have the same objectives, that everyone is part of the race, will find his place in the race, and will see the positive side of the subject and not only the negative ones, even if there are some. We know also there are some issues about energy, for example, with data centers, which uses a lot of energy, so we have to cope with that. It's a good thing in France we have a lot of energy, so that's good, and not so much costly with nuclear power plants and with ecological way of producing electricity, so that's quite good for us. It's an advantage for our country, I think, energy, so that's a good point for us. And we are also to speak about ethics about artificial intelligence, about the algorithm and so on. We have to take care. There is no bias in the way algorithms are built. So lots of questions which needs to be to find solution through opening discussions. So I'm very happy to open this event. So you are numerous. You are in this room. I can see very well because it's dark and I have the light in my eyes. But I can see all kind of people, young one, more elder ones. That's good. That's the way France is organized. So thank you very much for hearing me for quite minutes, and have a nice event and nice talks and discuss together. And I'm pretty sure we will be good in our country. And let's go together. Thank you very much.